What's up, Star Squad? It's Starlight out in the morning, and today's video is going to be a Q&A type thing, I guess, with the theme of dragons. Okay, I'm gonna do dragon talk. Yeah? Cool, let's go. So I've got some notes on my piece of paper. So without further ado, I suppose, let us jump right in, or fly right in, should I say. So, first question. Dragon guides. How important are they and how do they differ from guardians or Monte? So, dragon guides are just as important as dragon guardians. The difference between them is that dragon guardians are, or like Monte, depending on what term you prefer to use, are the kind of dragons that are assigned to guard you for your whole life. Basically, they are your guardians or your protectors. They are the ones to turn to if you need pretty much anything, basically. They are there for you for your lifetime. Dragon guides are kind of dragons that can more like dip in and out. So you can work with them, you can do some like magical exchange type things. So you can leave them offerings and you can ask them questions and stuff like that. But they're not specifically bound to you for your lifetime. They can kind of dip in and out as they choose. If they see you need help with something that they think they can help you with, then they'll like dip in. If they feel like they're done helping you with your specific task that you're working with them for, then they'll dip out and maybe dip in and out, and you can have loads and loads and loads of different dragon guides, but you've only got one or like a couple of dragon guardians that will be with you forever, basically, as far as I know. That's like based on my personal experience, that's based on like me working with my dragon guardians and guides, that's kind of how it works. How important are they? Dragon guides, again, very important, so they're not going to be like the one to turn to, but they are like far more kind of like spaced out amongst the different elements, and they will have different knowledge and things like that. So I mean, like the wisest of all beings, dragons, but even like one dragon can only know so much, so it is good to talk to all of the other kinds of dragons as well, because you can gain more knowledge, and like some dragons, like especially dragon guides, might actually be able to help you at a specific task better than your dragon guardian, because they might not have as much experience in the area that you need help with. So basically, dragon guardians or Monte, synonymous for the same thing. Dragon guardians are they're yours, they're with you for life. Dragon guides can kind of dip in and out and usually help you with specific things, and then like maybe you'll never see them again and another one will come in and stuff like that. So you might have some guides that kind of stick around for a long time, you might not, but your dragon guardian is the one to turn to, the one that's like bonded to you for life, basically. That's the difference. Is it possible to visit my guardian in my astral space? Yes, it is very possible, seeing as dragons are energy beings. You cannot kind of like communicate with them in the physical realm anyway. So yes, their energy can come into your space, but you won't be able to like physically see them or physically touch them or physically hear them or anything like that. It's not like I don't know, this pen. It's in my space, I can see it, I can touch it, I can feel it, I can smell it, but it doesn't smell like anything, it's plastic. But you get what I'm doing. Dragons are energy beings, they're not going to be able to come into your space physically like this pen can. So meeting them in astral space or in like an inner realm or something like that is the best way to do it anyway, because their energy is less likely to overwhelm you and you will actually be able to interact with them more fully because it's in your mental space. So that's actually a better way to do it than trying to see them in the physical, because it's just not going to happen. So is it possible to visit my guardian in my astral space? Absolutely, best way to do it. Keep going for it. Can you meet with the dragons in the physical realm? Kind of just covered this. Again, they are energy beings, so their energy can come into your space, but you won't be able to physically see them, touch them, hear them, like smell them. They can like send you certain signs and things that their energy is there, so you might get a mental picture, you might get like a certain scent or like just a knowing that they're there, but that will be more with like the psychic ability side of like your gifts. You won't be able to physically see them, you can't go and physically touch them in the flesh because they are energy beings, they are not like in this 3D reality, they are not real. Like, they're not part of reality in the way that we are. We can touch. Like, they're not going to be that. They are energy beings. They can only be energy beings when they're within this reality. Cool as it would be otherwise. They are only energy beings, so we can only interact with them within an energy scape thing, yeah. How are dragons born? Okay, this is a bit of a tough one. So, obviously we have things like Komodo dragons and stuff like that on physical Earth, and they do lay eggs, the eggs hatch, and blah blah. But energy dragons, like dragon energy that we've been talking about, as in like to work with the dragons, that kind of energy, they are energy beings, so they have no need of like procreation, and obviously for those of us that have had like past lives as dragons and stuff like that, it's like, yes, there is an ideology that seeing as you can have past lives, that means they can be killed and blah blah blah, but dragons have incredibly long lives, but of course they can die or they can reincarnate and things like that. So yeah, that's a whole other topic, and I can go into that in another one if you want that kind of video. So like the life cycle of a dragon and like incarnations of dragons as Dragonkin and stuff like that. If you want that, put it in the comments below. But because these are energy beings, and like dragons being reborn as energy beings, they are, again, they are eggs. They're not going to like physically be born like a mammal, because they're not, they're reptiles. So they're going to lay eggs, and the eggs will hatch, and they will, like, the eggs will grow up into adult dragons. But because they are energy beings, they can, especially dragons as well, dragons are like the personification of arcane magic. They can literally just use that magic to make a new egg. They don't have to like have all the sexy ten. So they won't need to do that, and they don't need to like procreate the way that physical beings would need to. So even if there are dragon eggs and they do hatch, they might not have been made physically, if you know what I mean. They would have been made, more likely made by like the arcane magic of the dragon that wants to have the hatchling. Hope that answered that one. Next question. Are there certain rituals or spaces dragons have that they keep private? So dragons are like worlds more like knowledgeable and intelligent than we are, and they have obviously their own culture and their own like ways and means of doing things and things like that. So yes, there will be like rituals and spaces and stuff that is dragons only, no humans allowed. So even if we do go to the dragon realm, like in some sort of astral projection or meditation or something like that, our dragon guardian might take us there. They won't take us to certain spaces or like allow us to be in certain rituals, because one, that knowledge will probably implode our brains. Two, they don't like to share everything with humans. Dragons are actually very, very secretive. It's one of the reasons they usually speak in riddles, because they're kind of like getting you to think about it, but getting you to figure out your answer to the riddle. So they tend to be like very, very private and secretive about most things, unless you ask the right questions. So if you ask something specific enough to warrant the answer that you're looking for, then you might get the answer that you're looking for. But generally, yeah, they don't like to tell humans pretty much anything about them, because it's like their own space and culture and shit like that. So are there certain rituals and spaces dragons have that they like to keep private? Yes. Short answer, yes, there are. And will we ever find out about them? Probably not. What's the difference between my dragonkin and my dragon guardians or guides? So this is sort of like a kin video. I've done another video today on other kin, and I kind of touched on it there. But dragonkin are, there's a couple of different ways of being dragonkin, which is like one of the later questions, but I'll skip ahead. To be dragonkin, you either have had a past life as a dragon, or you are like a dragon spirit that's still like a hatchling. So you are inside the egg, like your dragon self is inside the egg, and you are living like human experiences and stuff like that to be able to gain the knowledge and wisdom that you would need to be born as a dragon, which is why dragons, even hatchlings, are born knowing a hell of a lot. So my personal experience is having past life as a dragon. That's like my Dragonkin. I've had past lives as dragons. I am a very, very old soul. Very, very old spirit. I am not new at all. But my personal experience is having past lives as dragons. But most people will experience their Dragonkin as being that hatchling. So they are, like, their dragon self is like in the egg still, and their dragon energy has come into a human existence to experience life and gain all the knowledge and wisdom and stuff from a human life. And they might do this multiple times over, and then when they are kind of like sufficiently knowledgeable, they feel that they're sufficiently knowledgeable and wise, then they will hatch, and that will be a dragon energy entity. So most people that experience Dragonkin will have that kind of like hatchling experience. The rest of us will likely have past lives as dragons. So that's how the different kinds of ways of being Dragonkin. How to know your Dragonkin through a fuck ton of meditation and questioning everything, and like dreams and like guided meditations, astral travel, astral projection, like just general meditation. So some of us might experience phantom limbs or phantom shifts as dragons, so you might have the horns, the tail, the wings, like the snout and like hot breath, breathing fire. You might have a like tingling sensation of like scales or something. You might be able to kind of go into a mental space, look into a mirror, and you are a dragon. It's like energy shift, stuff like that. So that's how to know you are Dragonkin. But generally it's like years of questioning and working with the dragons, doing a lot of like inner work and like digging to your inner self and finding out that kind of thing about yourself. What are dragons like? That is the most vague question ever, but basically they are as varied as people are. So possibly even more actually, because there'll be more of them. But yeah, dragons are just magic incarnate. That's like fae can channel magic. Dragons are magic. They can like bend reality to their will, and they can create new things from nothing, basically. Whereas like the fae can just channel what's already there. So dragons are the definition of magic. They are magic, basically. So to say what are they like, that's what they are, but they are as varied as the stars in the sky or as the lines on this fucking wall. There is no one way to answer that, because every dragon is completely different. They are completely unique, and they are all beautiful, obviously. But yeah, there's some from different cultures, so they might have like a specific type of dragon, might have like a specific like, for example, one type of water dragon might have like the kind of like Haku from Spirited Away kind of body. Others have like the forelegs and the wings, and others. All dragons are completely varied and unique, so even if they look similar, they will have like identifying features and stuff like that that makes them completely different and unique. But actually working with them, again, they all like very specific question. They're not going to be, yes, I am wearing pyjamas. They're going to be as varied as people, basically, like personality wise, characteristic wise, whether it's in looks or the way they act or the way they talk, they're all going to be completely unique and completely different. So to say what are dragons like, there is no one way of answering that. You can say what's my dragon like, what's your dragon like. They are unique beings, basically, like as unique as people. Are winter dragons a thing? I remember playing in ice and snow with dragons as a kid. What about storm, chaos, etc.? So yes, storm dragons are a thing. Yes, like winter dragons are a thing. Chaos dragons I'm not entirely sure, because like chaos is an absence of order, so, and the elements have to order themselves in order to become elements. So I'm not entirely sure. Chaos is like a type of energy, but it's not exactly an element to work with. But I'm sure there might be chaos dragons. There are as many dragons as there are like things to be a dragon of, basically. So everything that like every element, every sub-element, every element combination, like every type of, like everything that is possible to be a dragon of, I am very sure there is a dragon for it, basically. Even if there's only one of them, there will be a dragon for that thing. So yes, there will be like winter dragons, ice dragons, snow dragons. Of course there are these things, they are part of an element. So yeah, there are as many dragons as there are things to be a dragon of, basically. Do all dragons come as one type, or do they appear different depending on where you're from? I kind of answered that earlier. So again, they are going to be as varied as people will be. They're going to have their own specific characteristics. They're going to have like their own eye colour. They're going to have their own like wingspan and shape. They're going to have their own scale shape and type and colour and like shine and everything like that. Everything is like saying, do all white people look the same? No. Do all Asians look the same? No. Do all black people look the same? No. There is like, even if they have like the same skin colour or the same eye colour, there's going to be other features of them that look completely different. So even if some dragons have the same like body type, they're not going to look exactly the same. Even if they've got the same scale colour, they're not going to look exactly the same. So there will always be identifying characteristics and features of a dragon that you can identify them by. And it's not even just the same as like, do they appear different depending on where you're from. Each dragon will have their own thing that makes them unique. So even if they all have like a certain type of dragon has like a long body with the tiny legs, or like a huge body with huge wings and muscular legs, just because they have that same body type doesn't mean they're going to look the same as the other dragons. So they can look as varied as people do, basically. I hope that answered all of the questions sufficiently, I suppose. Maybe? Who knows? If you've got any more questions, or if I can clarify anything for you, then put it in the comments below. But other than that, I think that wraps up this video. So, be unapologetically you, no shame, no shame, and I will see you in the next one.